Hello my dear students, welcome back to the second video of our subject, that is history, and chapter number 1, that is Mesopotamian civilization. So I just want to revise few things, that if you have any doubt, then you can ask doubt on my WhatsApp number, that is 7417871654. So once again I just want to remind you about what is history. History is a study of the past, specifically the people, societies, events and problems of the past, as well as our attempts to understand them. It is a pursuit common to all human societies. Then what is civics? Civics is the study of the rights and duties of citizenship. And my dear student, now I want to just revise that what we have studied till far now in the last video. What we have studied in the chapter, that was that introduction to the Mesopotamian civilization, then characteristics of the Mesopotamian civilization, that was such that the society means society in the Mesopotamian civilization was divided into upper class, middle class and lower class. In the upper class there was king and their family members, then in the middle class merchant, farmers and artisans, and then in the lower class slaves and slaves over there. Then we come to the family planning of the Mesopotamian civilization. Means family system was patriarchal. Patriarchal means that male members were given more importance. Means that male members were the head of the family, the man, and women were given only few privileges. Then city was divided into the city states. Then that was town. Next was the town planning. Under the town planning, the Mesopotamian cities were divided into sacred area, which had a ziggurat, the walled city and the outer dome. Then when we talk about the occupation, means the occupation of the Mesopotamian people, the main occupation of the Mesopotamian people was agriculture and domestication of animals. Then the next topic is art and craft. Means the Mesopotamian people were very good at making seals, metal objects, gold and silver ornaments, statues and pottery, and they were also very skilled in making pottery, weaving and metalwork. Then about the trade and commerce, Mesopotamian people had trade relation with the Harappan civilization, which is revealed by the seals which have been discovered during the excavation of the Indus Valley civilization of the Harappan civilization. Then let us come to the next part of the chapter, that is architecture. Then architecture means how the Mesopotamian people were how the Mesopotamian people were good at making the different building or the structures. So our next topic is architecture. The Mesopotamians introduced the one of the arches and the columns and domes in the buildings. The ziggurats and the hanging gardens represent the best example of Mesopotamian architecture. So two words have come, they are the ziggurats and the hanging gardens. These were the two famous and the most prominent building which are still present, but they are not in that much good condition, but still they exist. So these ziggurats and the hanging gardens had the arches होता है बहराब जिसे बोलते हैं, and columns and domes, domes होता है गुंबद. So I just want to show you the picture of ziggurat and the hanging garden. So my dear student, this is the hanging garden, and this is the image of hanging garden, and it is just an animated image. Then next is this is the image of ziggurat. What were the ziggurat? Ziggurat were the stepped temple. I'm just once again I'm repeating the what is ziggurat. Ziggurat were stepped temple towers built in honor of gods of the city state. So let us continue with our topic, that is architecture. So the hanging gardens of Babylon, in the palace of King Nebuchadnezzar II, is one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Means during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, only the hanging garden was built in Babylon. So what features it had? It was built on the top of stone arches. Means it was built very high, which were 23 meters above the ground. Means the base of the hanging garden was such that it was built 23 meters high above the ground. It was watered by the river Euphrates using a complicated mechanical system. So whatever the irrigation was done to the hanging garden was done through the water of river Euphrates, and by using a good system of mechanical system, which means that Mesopotamian people were very good at mechanical engineering also. Means they were good engineer also, but means as you all know, we have the engineering degree in this present, but in those times people were good at engineering works also. Means they had a good and skilled mind also. So that's why they used a particular mechanical system to water the river, to water the hanging gardens through the river Euphrates. Then a hanging garden had a mountain like series of terraces filled with plants. Means hanging gardens has a terraces which and on its terraces there were lot of plants. These achievements indicate the high technological and architectural advancement of the Mesopotamian in the ancient times. Means these two buildings, mainly the hanging gardens of the Babylon and the ziggurat, this proves that they were very good at technology and architectural advancement. So I just want to let you know that there was one code of you can see in the picture that the code of Hammurabi. The code of Hammurabi was one of the earliest sets of law found and one of the best preserved example of this type of document from ancient Mesopotamia. Means code of Hammurabi was one of the code of conduct or the law which was prevailing during the reign of King Hammurabi. The code of Hammurabi is a collection of legal decisions made by Hammurabi during his reign as a king of Babylon. Means there were several laws under the code of Hammurabi through which he used to run the kingdom, and there was peace and calm in his kingdom. And this code of Hammurabi was inscribed on a stele. Inscribed means उस पर लिखवाया जाता था on a stele. Then I just want to tell you once again what is stele. Stele is a stone or wooden slab, generally taller and erected as a monument for commemorative purposes. Means there were slabs which were made of stone or woods, and on them the code or the laws which was passed by the kings was written, and they were placed between the people in the kingdom. The black stone stele was carved from a single 4-ton slab of diorite. 4 ton means that slab was 4 ton. 1 ton equals to 100 kg. then it was a durable but an incredibly difficult stone for carving. Means that a black stone stele was a very tough and very hard stone, but even though the means the people were able to carve the code on that, the code on the black stone. So let us come further with our next topic, that is religion. Under the religion, the information about Mesopotamian religious belief is based on the various archaeological and literary resources. Means how the archaeologists have found some literary resources like seals or stones. Means on them the things are carved or written through different pictograms. So that's why only we are able to know that how the Mesopotamian people were very closely related to the religion. The Mesopotamian believed in many god and goddesses. हाँ, मतलब वो भी है ना, देवी और देवताओं में विश्वास करते थे. गॉड होता है देवता और गॉडेसेस देवी. They also worshipped forces of nature such as the sun, moon and rain. Means even today also we worship such type of god, that is sun, moon and rain. The chief Mesopotamian gods were, the main gods of the Mesopotamian were Anu. He was the god of sky. Then Anil, he was the god of wind. Then Enki, he was the god of earth. Then Ninihur Saga, she was the mother goddess. Means she was one of the important god. Then the king was a chief priest. Then during the Mesopotamian civilization, the king was the main priest. He was believed to be the direct representative of God on the earth. Means this means that the king was considered that he was next to the god and he has a connection with the god. Means he represented God. Later on the priests were appointed by the king, but after some time the king appointed the main priest under his kingdom. Discovery of weapons, armaments, vessels and various other objects in the graves proves that the Mesopotamians believed in life after that. Mesopotamians also believed in life after that. This have been discovered because this have been revealed because archaeologists have discovered weapons, armaments and vessels and various objects which were buried with the dead bodies during the Mesopotamian civilization, and these are found under the ground by the archaeologists. Then what was the contribution of the Mesopotamian civilization? Our next topic, that the script. Script means it's the art of, what was the art of writing in the Mesopotamian civilization. The greatest achievements of Mesopotamians were the invention of writing. They were the first to invent a pictographic form of writing. Means Mesopotamians, they designed such a art of writing in the form of pictograms or the pictures known as a cuneiform or the wedge shaped. Cuneiform means that cuneiform was a Mesopotamian script written on clay tablets which contained wedge shaped characters. Wedge shape means the best example for a wedge shape is knife. Means knife like pictures, or the pictures were carved on the seals. Then the script contained picture like symbols. You can see in this picture the close view of cuneiform writing. The wedge shaped pictures are carved on this particular seal, you can see. So this was a cuneiform writing. Then the symbols were written on wet tablet with a stylus. Actually, what was stylus? Stylus was a sharp pen which was made up of reed or bones or metal, and with the help of stylus these pictures were carved on the wet tablets, and these wet tablets were put in the fire and dried. The tablet was then baked in the sun or fire, means after carving on the wet tablet with the help of stylus, these tablets were baked in sun or fire, means जो tablet होती थी या seals होती थी उनको है ना पका दिया जाता आग में या sun in the sunlight. The pictograms on the tablets represented an object or an idea. Mostly some ideas or some pictures were written on the tablets or the seals. Then what do we mean by pictograms? Pictogram is a picture representing a word or phrase. The people who wrote on these tablets were called scribes. So the people who used to write on these tablets or seals, they were known as scribes. So I just want to tell you once again what is who were scribes. Scribe is a person who made copies of written documents before printing was invented, because in ancient times during the Mesopotamian civilization or means printing was not invented. So that's why the tablets or the seals were used to write. A large number of clay tablets have been found in archaeological findings. These clay tablets were mostly used for keeping records of business documents, daily transactions, and royal inscription. So mainly these tablets were used for business document, means whatever the business relation were kept by the people from one people to the another or from one place to another, because Mesopotamian people had relation with the Harappan civilization also. So they, as a record to keep for the business record, they used tablets or the seals. Then daily transactions means the whatever give and take was done, it was mentioned, जो भी लेन देन होता था वो सब उस tablets पे लिखा जाता. Then royal inscription means whatever the king or queen's laws or the announcements were written on these tablets only, and they were put in the public places in the kingdom. Then Mesopotamians were very good in science and technology also. That is our next topic, science and technology under the Mesopotamian civilization. The Mesopotamians were technically very advanced. Building of canals, dikes, canals आपका नहर होता है, dikes is just like a dam like structure. I'm telling you once again the meaning of dikes. Dikes was a long wall or embankment built to prevent flooding from sea or river. Means dikes were used to means to protect the people from flood from the river or sea. And reservoirs required considerable technical skills which they handed down to the later generation. Means the knowledge of building of canals and dikes and reservoirs was passed from one generation to the another by the people to their children. Then the Mesopotamians were brilliant mathematicians, because they were the first to divide a day into 24 hours and each hour into 60 minutes, each minute into 60 seconds. This form of calculation has survived till today. Means in present day world also we require the watches, means we are having those watches in the phone or in the wall, or the wristwatch we are using. So this time was divided, means a day was divided by the Mesopotamian people into 24 hours. Then that 24 hour was divided into each hour, and each hour was divided into 60 minutes, and 1 minute was divided into 60 seconds. Then they were under the Mesopotamian civilization. The Sumerians also developed the first calendar, means they had developed the first lunar calendar. Means which was adjusted according to the phases of the moon. Means as you people must have studied in science about the phases of the moon. Means according to 28 days rotation, the lunar calendar was made and by the Sumerians. This lunar calendar was later adopted by the Semites, Egyptians, and the Greeks. Then metallurgy. Metallurgy means the study of different metals and how to make the use of metals. The Mesopotamian discovered copper. They made bronze by adding tin to copper. With this began a new age known as the Bronze Age. Means they were the first to make an alloy. In an alloy, one or more than two or more than two metals are mixed with each other. So Mesopotamians, they discovered copper and they made bronze by adding tin to the copper, and they made a bronze. Then why did the Mesopotamian civilization decline? Means what was the reason that Mesopotamian civilization came to an end? The decline of the Mesopotamian civilization has been attributed to many factors. Number one, the river Euphrates unexpectedly changed its course, which forced the inhabitants to move to other places. Means the river Euphrates must have changed its course, है ना. जो रिवर यूफ्रेट्स का जो पानी बहने का रास्ता था, शायद वो बदल गया होगा. बिकॉज वॉट एवर द लाइवलीहुड ऑफ द पीपल डिपेंड्स ऑन द water only. If the river changes its course, then how the water will be available? So that's why the people of the Mesopotamian civilization must have moved to other places. Then second, frequent wars and attacks marked an end to the Asian civilization, and most probably there must have been wars and attacks by the other people or the other states of the country. So that's why it was the end of the Mesopotamian civilization. Nevertheless, Mesopotamia remains a cradle of civilization. What means cradle of civilization? Cradle means a place where something important began. And Mesopotamia was one of the important place where lot of things happened. And Mesopotamia saw the fall and the rise of many kingdoms and the civilization also, and they also invented several things. As then again I'm coming to the end of the chapter. Mesopotamia remains a cradle of the civilization. At it not only gave rise to the first civilization of the world, but also saw the rise and fall of other civilizations such as the Babylonians, Assyrian, and Akkadian. Then my dear student, I just want to have a snap recap of the chapter. Then the what we have studied in the chapter. In the snap recap, just see this. The world's first civilization flourished between the fertile valleys of Tigris and the Euphrates. Art and architecture, craft and technology was highly specialized. The writing adopted by the Sumerians was known as the cuneiform writing. The use of metals and the knowledge of metallurgy ushered in the Bronze Age. Then in the glossary there are important terms which we have come across in the chapter. Number one is armaments. Armaments was military weapons and equipment. State is an independent state consisting of a city and the area around it. Then cradle, a place where something important began. Cuneiform, Mesopotamian script written on clay tablet which contained wedge shaped characters. The dikes, a long wall or embankment built to prevent flooding from sea or river. Then patriarchal, the society in which the male member is the head of the family. Pictogram, a picture representing a word or a phrase. Stele, a stone or wooden slab, generally taller, erected as a monument for commemorative purposes. Then the stylus, a sharp pen made out of reed, bones or metal. Then scribe, Scribe, a person who made copies of written documents before printing was invented. Then ziggurat was stepped temple towers were stepped temple towers built in honor of gods of the city state. Then my dear student, I just want to say that go through this glossary and learn these terms also, because these terms may come as a definition also, or in the form of one word answer also in your unit test or in the examination. And one important thing I want to tell you, that just go through the chapter, read the chapter, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me doubt on my WhatsApp number, which I have given you in the starting. Then let us come to the exercises. This is the fill in the blanks. So the fill in the blanks number 1. Fill in the blanks number 1 is, that is exercise first. Fill in the blanks. The Mesopotamian civilization flourished between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. The number 2. The Mesopotamian civilization is popularly known as the Sumerian civilization. Number 3. The crops grown by them were wheat, fruits, and pulses. Number 4. Mesopotamian architecture introduced arches, columns, and domes. The number 5. The Bronze Age civilization flourished around the river valleys. The Sumerian civilization was followed by the Babylonian and Assyrian civilization. The number 7. The Mesopotamian people built dikes to control floods. The number 8. The Hanging Garden of Babylon is regarded as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Then fill in the blanks number 9. The Mesopotamians developed a writing script known as cuneiform. The number 10. The people who wrote on the clay tablets were called scribes. The number 11. The Mesopotamians were the first to develop the lunar calendar. Number 12. The stepped temple towers built by Mesopotamians in the honor of God were called ziggurat. The number 13. The Hanging Gardens of the Babylon was built in the palace of King Nebuchadnezzar II. The number 14. In Mesopotamia, merchants, farmers, and artisans belonged to the middle class. The number 15. The Mesopotamian cities were divided into the 3 parts: the sacred area, the walled city, and the outer town. Then our second exercise is that is true or false. So number one, the Mesopotamians were believed to have invented the ox-drawn plow and the wheel cart. That is true. The number 2, the cuneiform script contained picture-like symbols and pictograms. True. The number 3, the Mesopotamians did not believe in life after death. That is false. The number 4, the Mesopotamia saw the rise and fall of the Babylonian, Assyrian, and Akkadian civilization. It is also true. Then number 5, the Mesopotamians did not have any trade relations with the Mediterranean countries. It is false. Then my dear student, I will be discussing the question answers and the short notes in my next video. Then our next exercise is match the following. Match the column. Number 1, King Hammurabi, code of law. Number 2, temple tower, ziggurat, hanging gardens, Nebuchadnezzar II. Number 4, lunar calendar, that is Sumerians. Then pictogram, cuneiform. Then our next exercise, that's a picture study, 7th. That is study the picture given here. This is the picture study you have to do, and that under the picture study, the question number 1 is, what does the picture show? The picture shows clay tablet with cuneiform writing. Then question number 2, why was it important to the Mesopotamians? It was important to the Mesopotamians because these clay tablets were mostly used for keeping records of business documents, daily transactions, and royal inscription. Then question number 3, who were the people who could read and write in Mesopotamia? Scribes were the people who could read and write in Mesopotamia. And my dear student, I just want to remind you once again that I will be discussing question answers and write short notes in my next video. So once again, means till now I have just dictated the question, the fill in the blanks and the true false, match the following and picture study, but I'm just showing the exercise in written also. So fill in the blanks number 1. In fill in the blanks number 1, there are 2 blanks. Number 1 is Tigris and Euphrates. Then number 2, Sumerian civilization. Number 3, wheat, fruits, pulses. Then fill in the blanks number 4, arches, columns, domes. Then fill in the blanks number 5, river. Then number 6, Babylonian, Assyrian. Then number 7, dikes. Number 8, hanging gardens. Number 9, cuneiform. Number 10, scribes. Number 11, lunar. Number 12, ziggurat. Number 13, Nebuchadnezzar II. Number 14, middle. Number 15, there are 3 blanks. They are as follows: sacred area, walled city, outer town. Then our second exercise is state whether true or false. Number 1 is true, number 2 is true, number 3 false, number 4 true, number 5 false. Then our next exercise is match the columns. Match the columns आपको आमने सामने लिखने हैं. match the following, that number 1, King Hammurabi, code of law. Number 2, temple tower, ziggurat. Number 3, hanging garden, Nebuchadnezzar II. Number 4, lunar calendar, Sumerians. Number 5, pictogram, cuneiform. Then our next exercise is, that is picture study. The answer for the picture study, and the question number 1 is, and the question answer for the question number 1 is, the picture shows clay tablet with cuneiform writing. Then number 2, then answer number 2 for picture study, it was important to the Mesopotamians because these clay tablets were mostly used for keeping records of business documents, daily transaction, and royal inscription. Then number 3, scribes were the people who could read and write in Mesopotamia. And my dear student, I just want to inform you once again that if you have any doubt in this chapter, you just can ask the doubts on my WhatsApp number, that is 7417871654. And my dear student, you have in notebook, you have to do match the following, picture study, and in the next video I will be discussing the question answer and the short notes. And fill the blanks True or false, you just do them in the book itself only. Sorry, you people must not be having the books, but if those who have the books, you just write the fill in the blanks and the true false in the book itself only. But in the notebook, you have to do match the following and picture study. So please make a separate notebook for history and civics. And in my next video I'll be discussing the question answers and the short notes. Till then now, just stay safe at your home. Take care and goodbye.